Hello, welcome back to my workshop. Right, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just checking this cylinder ball. This is the cylinder, it's been reground off of my PAZ1. What we're going to do is check it with some bore gauges, or rather a bore gauge out of a set of bore gauges. First thing I'm going to do is, because I have one, I have a nice big 3-inch standard, so I'm going to put that on the surface plate. And I'm just going to go and make sure that it's accurate, that the micrometer I'm going to be using is accurate. Okay, now that can be a bit fiddly. And it is very much a matter of feel. But if you look here, you can see that that is bang on the 0 and no tenths. That's important. Now this cylinder has been rebored here to 3 inches plus 20 thousandths. So how you use one of these? First things first is that these spring in and out, and you can clamp them by tightening that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go and push those in a little bit, put that down there and undo them. Now there we go, and then we can tighten that up and just move that around, and if you pull it like that, because of its domed ends, you should then pick up the diameter. And then what we need to do, let me just see if I can just move that out of the way so you can see. Hold on, let me just slightly adjust this camera. That could be better. Right, so what you need to do, obviously that's set at 3 inches. That's 3 inches and 25 thou. Is make sure that that is lined up perfectly, and then you move that backwards and forwards gently until you can just feel it start to stick. There we go. And that is 3 inches plus, hold on, it's moved. Try that again, except I'll have to remeasure it. Lock that off. That there is 3 inches plus 20 thou. Now if you're measuring a bore that hasn't just been reground, what you will want to do is to measure it in 3 different places. So we're going to measure this down the bottom. Same thing, just a sweeping motion out. Just give that a tweak afterwards. And making sure that that's straight through until you feel it start to grip. Now that one actually, and you can find this, that one's actually come out at just a shade under 20 thou over. But that might have been an error on my part. And measure it this way at the bottom. Hold on, I'll just make sure that that's at 90 degrees. Tighten that up. Sweep it up. Things you need to watch out for, I'll come to in a minute. So we can move that backwards and forwards. Well, okay. It is important to keep this straight, otherwise you will get an off reading. There we go. Okay, that's come out low again. I'm not convinced by that. I'm going to do that one again. Now you want to do each measurement in each spot 3 times, because it's quite easy to get this wrong. And it's also a good idea, if you don't have something you know is precisely right, to practice measuring on a ball race that usually has a ground ball. Okay, no, that's it. Right, so that's another bang on 20 thou over. And then we're also going to measure it at the top here, just for a laugh. Okay, now that's an example of getting it wrong. Actually, that's moved. It was, but it was 319. So that's a problem. I don't think that's right. So you do need to be careful. Do you need to run several measurements? You need to practice with these before you can use them. Now I'll squeeze that in. Right, and then we'll come on to the problem with these. That's still coming in low. I am going to double check that. That's odd. Just try that slightly further down. Okay, something you need to watch for. I'll come to in a sec. You know what? That's interesting. That is coming in at 319. Won't make any difference. It's good enough. Let's try it down there. No, I think I've just been sloppy about measuring it. Right, so that's all good there. Reasonably happy with that. Things that go wrong with these. Firstly, I don't hold with the idea you can measure them with a vernier. The other thing that you can quite easily do, this is a giant C-clamp, is you can just, okay, that one's got a nice little spring on it, so that doesn't quite work, but you can in fact just squeeze those in as far as you like, because that's a C-clamp. The other thing you can do is if you get a vernier out, let's get one out. Oh no, that's not a vernier. Where did I put my vernier? Mislaid my vernier. What a silly boy. Where did I put it? I know where I put it. It's behind me. If you get a vernier out, you will inevitably run into problems with measuring a smaller bore than you thought. Right, so, oh, something else, always clean jaws before you use them. Right, so if I pull this out, that is too stiff to measure this particularly accurately. But what you would want to do is move it close to where you think it should be. In this case, that's a little bit much. There we go. And then you have to then try and move that down, which is very hard, I find quite hard to do, particularly as this one is quite so stiff, while you're moving that in between. And you see that it's quite easy then to just pick up something that is wildly out. That is no way is that 16.5 thou over. It's definitely 20. So I wouldn't use a vernier for that job. I would use a mic. And when you are using a mic, what you need to do is you need to come in very gently and you feel that in until it just bites. And if you got it too hard, then you just need to do the whole thing again, because it is quite easy to move that once you've picked it up. There we go. So that's just about it. It just catches right on the end. You need to have that exactly like straight in there, not like that, not like that, like that or like that, but straight, which you can see by eye. You do need to be quite careful about that. So clean your jaws, calibrate, make sure your mic is reading correctly, and then you feel in, buy a ball bearing race of almost any size that has a precisely ground inner, and practice, and definitely use a micrometer. I think I've now got micrometers up to 6 inch and lots of them intense, so I'm okay there. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Questions are welcome.